Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. On this episode, we're going to be doing for our playlist a LOTRO guide. This will be the second episode. What we're going to do in this one, even though we're not going to actually be numbering the episodes, this one is going to be a cover of doing everything with the layout of the game. So let's go into our character here, and we're going to do a real quick learning of the whole layout of all the things that are on your screen when you're in game, because this is a very important thing to know. My main goals for this episode is going to be to do them in a precise and quick fashion, so you're not sitting here for an hour, but at the same time I don't want to go too quickly so people can actually go into settings and fix things and learn things. This is also be a learning experience. This is a technical learning experience. All right, so we're going to stand here at Thorn's Gate, at the main hall, Thorn's Hall, and I'm going to teach you about the stuff on the sides here. Real quick, I'm going to do one thing real quick. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Alright, so for this episode, we are going to be working on learning about this stuff, alright? I know this is a little exaggeratedly large, but I want you to be able to see everything. Okay, so we are going to go from top left corner to top right corner to around, right? And we'll do the left to right on the bottom. So at the top here, we have your main, by the way, your main, this is your overlay. Look, you can see the face of your character, right? This right here is your level, your current level. Something that we also need to know about is this bar at the very bottom that has a gold hint. And there's a gray opening on this side down here. Can you see my arrow right here, down here at the bottom? All right, so see how it says right here, level 8, and we have a certain amount of XP. Out of a certain amount of XP, if you hover this, it'll tell you need 72 XP for level 9, okay? So we'll come back to that. But that is your level you are in the game, right? The max level at this point in time in 2021 April is 130. I'm not sure it'll be going up anytime soon, but maybe it will. So I thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, so here's our name, Voice of the Rings. This is our main character. We've been doing our LOTRO, a LOTRO tale playlist, right? Our main point of this channel is the voiceovers and having fun, but this is a technical video, correct? For everyone who wants to learn about the game. So now that we got that out of the way, we have the green bar, which is HP. You can change this to a percent if you want. If you'd like to see your percent of how much health you have left, you can change that. I like seeing the actual numbers of how much max health I have versus how much I currently have, right? So your max level, if the max amount you have is on the left. When you're taking damage, your one on the right will be going down. I believe I got that, unless I got that backwards. Mana is your abilities. So when you cast an ability, this will go down. Okay, I'm sorry. The max is on the right. The left is what will go down during a fight or when you're using abilities. So blue is your mana on the left there. Certain characters have instead of a mana bar, that blue, they'll have a rage bar, right? So that is I think champions and Bjornings they don't use mana. They have to build that bar up from nothing. It'll be gray and empty, 1 out of 100, and it'll fill up, and then you can use certain abilities when you have that increase, right? So that's a difference, so people know this. Underneath your character's banner, this is kind of the banner, right? You're going to have whatever abilities you have on. Right now, I have an upgraded ability on that lets me do more damage and stuff, so on and so forth. There it is. If I turn it off here, should let me be able to turn it off, or do I have to switch to another one? So let's say I switch to another one, right? See, now it's changed the other one. Normally you can turn these off, but I'm not sure why it's not letting me. Maybe you always have to have one on with the minstrel now. Anyway, I've got my buffs here. I'm getting these buffs from items I have on my character. So that's what these are. They give me experience buffs. Normally you won't have anything underneath here to start, except for if you're a minstrel or someone that has a buff, you'll have this on. You'll know what's on. It's underneath your banner. Okay, so that's about all you need here. You can right-click the banner. We'll go through this real quickly. And then you can do show different things, toggle UIs for these certain things. I can go into these more detail, but we're not going to worry about those right now because you'll probably never use them. Customize your portrait. Depending on how long you've been playing the game, I've been playing the game many years. So I have a portrait for every single year I've been playing. I think I have all the way up to an 11-year frame. So these leaves I have, okay, I'll explain those leaves real quick so people know. 1 leaf is 1 year. It goes up to 5. Then when you're at 5 years, you get a gold leaf. And then you get 4 more leaves. And then at that point, you get another gold leaf. And so on and so forth. I have 2 gold leaves and 2 silver, which means that I've been playing for 12 years. Yep, 12-year frame. You can also get other frames, like I have a 10-year Mordor frame, and it just is cool like Mordor border. And you'll see some people have a VIP frame. When you're paying for VIP, you get a VIP one. That's what it looks like this. Henceforth, okay, so you get that point. Play music. This is where you play music, right? Quickly, you right-click on your portrait, you say play music. If you have an instrument on you, you'll be able to pull up the music system. The music system is greatly complex in this game. I don't even know all about it, so we will go into that more detail later. But if you want to do that and you have an instrument on you in your inventory, you have it right here in your inventory in your character slot, right? It's near your shield. It's going to be like where you normally have a ranged weapon. So you have a ranged weapon, you have to switch it out to play music. And then if you go 1, 2, 3, you actually see, I'm just clicking on my numbers on my keyboard. So you can do music with that. There's a whole complex system with that. That'll be another day. We'll have a whole video set on that, maybe several videos, because that's crazy. Or I'll link you to someone who did a good video on it. Anyway, we're going to stop there with that. So that's the left top portrait. We're now going to go over to the mini map, all right? Up here, this big thing, right? So I'm just going to pull it over here. Whoop. So we can see it kind of a little better. So here's the mini map. By the way I'm pulling things around is control, I can't think of, it's the button that's above the enter button on the right. Not the backspace, but the one between the backspace and the enter button on the keyboard. Control that is what you get to this, and you can drag things around on the screen, and then you can do it again to turn them off. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's like a double arrow pointing 2 ways. Like, I'll worry about that later. Leave it in the comments if you know the term of that button real quick. But anyway, so I can I'll give you more on that later. So here's the mini map. We're going to focus on what we're doing here. So obviously north is north. This orange arrow here, this red arrow is you, right? So that's heading north, right? And also it matters which way your character's looking. If you ever want to switch to your character being straight again and you've moved him, you can double tap both click buttons on your mouse, and that'll align him straight with your visual, right? If you hold down the left mouse button while you move W and A him around, you can then move him around, right? Well, your camera doesn't move. And then you can move your camera around by holding down the left button on the mouse and moving in a circle like that. Or however you want to do it, moving it around. So that's very complex. It gets a little crazy after a while, so we won't worry about that right now. So another thing then is this right here, this little thing. Gives you the date of the actual day, right? Today is the 4/21 of real life, right? And in the game. It's 6/22 in real life. But the game modes in this are every I think it's hour or two. It goes through a day and night cycle in Lord of the Rings Online, which is fun because they don't do the same time you actually are. So if you're playing in the middle of the night, you can have a daytime while you're playing. So that's kind of fun. So right now it's daytime, morning, right? There's a couple different levels. It's, evening, night, midnight, morning, afternoon. It'll run through that. So that kind of shows you. And then, the sun will actually be moving in the sky during that, etc. Here is something we got, toggle your wallet. This is another way to get to your wallet, okay, from this spot. You can click this. It brings up your wallet. I have the premium upgrade wallet on this account. This is something good you get if you're free to play, or regular, I think you earn it. But then they've also made the wallet. There's also another thing where when you get the premium wallet, you can put in your tokens for getting different things over time. So if you like a certain place where you're getting these quests, and they'll give you tokens that are give you respect for the area. You can go turn them in and get loot and stuff like that. We'll go into this system different. This will make a whole video on this. But that's where you get to your wallet from there. Also, there's a thing down here at the bottom left on the wallet, Destiny perks. You don't earn a lot of this stuff, but while you're leveling, the biggest thing you want to use a lot is this right here, the XP Accelerator. This is really nice. What it does is it adds this extra blue bar on this gray area down here when you're leveling, and basically it'll double, grant you increased XP depending on what you're killing and giving quests during it. So it gives you a little description when you hover over things. Almost everything will give you a description when you hover over it. So use that. It's a great asset in this game, right? All right, so now we're going to go to here. There's a Stable Master map. This is super cool. They've added this a while back. This brings you to your collectibles. It shows you every Stable Master you know about. Stable Masters are basically people you can go to and click on, and they'll give you can get a horse to ride around, just move yourself, but it'll either fast travel you to a certain location, which means you just teleport, you'll just load to a new location, or you can actually ride a certain area, and it'll say regular travel versus swift travel or fast travel. So that's important to know. This will give you, of all the places you know, obviously we're brand new on this character, so he only knows one Stable Master, where my main would know most of these Stable Masters over the entire Middle Earth, right? There's also in this because now you're in the collectibles tab. You've got your emotes. We're going to do another video on emotes, so we won't worry about that. You've got your mounts, where you can actually ride. There's goats, there's elk, there's pigs, there's all the different kinds of horses. So those are all the mounts you can earn in the whole game or buy. Usually you earn most of them. And then there's pets. These are just cosmetic, like that little this little anniversary pig, right? He just summons a little guy. He just follows you around. He doesn't fight. He doesn't do anything. He's not a battle companion. He's just for fun, just cosmetic. So that's what the collection pets are. There's certain characters that have actual people that follow them that actually fight and help. Like captains get like a banner guard guy, and lore masters get a pet that's actually a battle pet that'll attack and protect them. So anyway, moving on. We got the open the world map. You can open the world map from here. I prefer to just use the quick M button. If you just click M on your keyboard, it also opens that much faster. But if you want to click that, you can click that. Here, this is a little indicator. This hope and dread. These are two things that aren't really used a lot in the end game anymore, but it used to be a big thing at level 50 and 60. In certain instances, if you get your dread up, it basically you counteract it with hope tokens. They're basically like, imagine the Frodo when he's in Shelob's lair with the vial that Galadriel gave him, right? That gives him light and hope, basically. That's kind of the gist. So when you're around a really evil guy, your mini-map will actually become the Eye of Sauron, and your character will literally not be able to move and start cowering in place, right? That's when you like have 5 or 6 dread, and your health bar will lose like 70% of its health. It'll have a big red thing. It's usually bad. So if you're normally they'll do that in a lore part of the video where they don't want you to move. They want you to just see what's happening. But when you're actually in some raids and some dungeons and instances, by the way, in this game they call it instance. They don't call it a dungeon. So for when you're doing like groups of things with your friends in a battle place, if you don't know the terminologies. Anyway, hope is important. You need that for things. You get hope tokens. You also get hope from certain characters' abilities, but usually it's from that. All right, we've basically done this. Also, you got a thing right here. Shows where I am. I'm in Farron's Court. It's also showing there is a nearby objective, one of my quests to do. That's why it's flashing these rings. And it shows me the exact location I am in the game, 14.9 west, blah, 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 blah. And if I move, that'll actually change. Should change. There, see, it changed. So it's like little squares on the ground, right? All right, so we're done with that. We're going to move on to the quest tracker. All right, so here's your quest tracker. You can have a total of 5 quests on the screen, right? So it then tells you where you are. Whatever quest you have on the screen will also show up in the mini map here, right? There's also one thing I need to go back to the mini map real quick, is you can actually right-click on the mini map, and you can do filters. This is very important. If you're looking for a certain thing, we can go through all these over time. In fact, I'll run through them real quickly. Auction halls, it's where you sell things to real people, and people you can bid on it, that kind of stuff. Barber, you can change the appearance of your character's face and hair. Bard is basically where you get actual loot instruments, and it used to be where bards would train, but it's some other things. Campfire sites are actually a spot where certain people can summon people, or you can get a healing buff, or you can cook, I think. Crafting faculties is, a farming spot, a forge, things for crafting. We'll go into a whole episode on crafting later. Crafting resource. This is good to have. When you turn on your ability, when you learn a crafting trait, we'll go into the crafting real quick. We'll go into the crafting thing. When you click one of these, so basically I'm a historian, so I can track artifacts and I can track farming supplies. When I click this, that is on now. If there's one near me on this mini map, I will see that on the ground. You will see this actual little pickaxe and hammer, and it's green. It's a little bigger when it's on the thing. So that's really nice. So you leave that on, obviously. Crafting vendors, dockmaster are a new thing in the game. There's not many of them. They're basically stable masters. They're the same thing. They're fast travel ability to teleport around. Eagles, there's only one area that really has that in the Misty Mountains. I think they might be a fast travel location as well for a certain quest. Enemies, you can have that on. It'll actually show a red tiny dot on your mini map. You know there's an enemy nearby. That's someone who might attack you. Some things will threaten you, like they're gonna attack you. You stand close to them too long, they'll attack you. But anyway, enemy makes sense, right? Faction person, that's someone you can actually turn in those rewards to, right? I'm not exactly sure. Far-ranging stable master, I believe that's like an upgraded stable master that can teleport you. What it means, farther away, right? Fellowship members, when you're in a fellowship with someone, right? Also, there's more things that pop up here when you're in a fellowship with someone on your border. You can invite people and stuff. I might have to show you guys that in a second here. We can talk about that more in a minute. So fellowship members, your fellowship, whoever's the fellowship leader, you can have up to 6 people in a group, right? Walking around doing quests. They're a little bit different color. Fellowship shared tracking. You can actually help track the same quest together. That's a newer thing. I haven't used it very much. These are all things you should pretty much leave on. The only time you change the filter is when you're find a certain thing and it's maybe covered by another filter on the mini map or on the big map, right? Item masters, mailbox, milestones are very important. These are the things that you will link. You get a free milestone ability, this one, and it's called return to bound milestone. You bind it to whatever milestone, and then you can return to that anytime. There's an hour cooldown ability. You can get more of those milestones later to have more places to teleport around the world, but that's good. Your pet, points of interest are like, oh look, where are we? This little mini flag. It's Farron's Court, right? Points of interest. Reflection pool is how you go back and do certain story quests. What you're selected on. Hey, look, if I click on this guy, see how it changed? There's a yellow circle now. Selected on. These are simplistic things, I know, but I'm just going to go through them. I'm just trying to go through them. Settlement, it's a certain place, right? Sealed master we already talked about. Task person. These are other things. Tracking an enemy if you have an ability to track things or an item that gives you a tracking ability, it'll look like that. Kind of looks a trader, a trainer. These are the things you go to used to get skills at, but now you just learn the skills. But you might have to go to them for certain other reasons in the future. Vault keeper. This is really important. This is where you go and you can put stuff to store. If you're out of inventory in your actual inventory here, you can go put stuff in there as long as they're not bound to your character. There's also a shared storage between all your characters on the same account, and then there's your own vault storage. You can increase that by paying normal in-game money. Later, you can increase it more with turbine points room. The vendor. That's how you sell and repair your gear if your gear is damaged. Sometimes you'll get this little like thing up here and you'll show your character or it won't show your character, but like a bunch of armor pieces, and one will be yellow or red. Red means it's broken. You actually have to go to a vendor and say repair to repair your gear, or you won't be getting the stats or the armor bonuses from that if it's broken. And warband or something else. I don't quite know what that is at the moment. Anyway, so that's a quick run view for that. We're also going to quickly go over the quests here. So obviously the quest trackers, right? It's showing me what I'm finished with, right? Checks means I kind of finished with it. I'm bringing it to someone. I've done all these already. Or sometimes it'll just say bring it to this, right? You can click on the ring to actually open the quest finder, right? So that's another thing you can do here. I don't want to make this video go too long, so I'm going to keep just doing the overlays. We'll go into more details with that in a minute. So bottom left, you have your chat box, right? This is really important. We'll do a whole episode on chat box so I can talk to in more detail about it. But anyway, you can move it around by holding general. You can pull this tab to stretch it. You can go into settings to change other things with the font sizes. You can right click on, or you can click on this. This is an important thing. A lot of people don't know how to do this, right? So this is say. Right now we're in say. Say means you're going to say hi. It's going to float above your head if you have the float above your head on. But everyone that was nearby me, that guy just rode by, he saw me say hi. But if he was up the stairs way over there, he would not have seen that. It's a locational area. But you can click this little tab here and go to fellowship. So now if you're invited people into your group, no matter where they are, as long as they're in your group, they can read this fellowship. Kinship. If you're in a kinship with people, no matter where you are in the world, they're online, you write something, they can read it. Output channels. Those are the main things. Output channels, you can do world. World means everyone in the world is going to see it when you write something, right? There's different user chat things. These don't always really matter. There's a trade channel. It's the same thing as world, but usually it's, you're trying to trade something. Hey, I need this, or hey, I want to sell this and we want it. Regional is wherever you are. So that's in Thorin's Hall right now. Only people will be able to read this in this area. Raiding, you turn that on if you're in a raid group, and all the people in your raid group can read it, right? Then we've also got officers. That's only people in the kinship that are officers. OCC used to be something that people used mainly for a PvP zone, but no one really uses that very much. Looking for fellowship, I think that's like a world chat, but everyone can see it. Emotes, I think if you have this on, no matter what, let's say if I say sit, type sit and enter. Does my guy sit? He should. Oh, you know what? It might just make it in the emote chat. He might not actually do it. If you do /sit, /. Okay, so that's just to kind of make it look like you're doing emotes and talking. It doesn't actually do emotes. That's an interesting little thing to know. There's also a thing on the bubble down here called emotes. It'll show you all of these emotes you can do in the game, right? I can bow, right? My guy's going to stand up and bow, right? Here we go. bows, right? So that's important to know. This emote thing is cool, and also you can go over more emotes. Look at all these emotes. You can also earn emotes. There's also a thing in the collection. Remember we just looked at in the collection tab that shows you all of the emotes in the game and what you can earn. Right? There's lots. It's really cool, right? So I like push-ups. That's kind of a fun one. So anyway, there's that channel. We'll go into more detail later. I want to try to finish this episode in 10 minutes. So we're going to go over this whole bottom part. We're going to do more in-depth things later, and I'll tell you what we'll do more of. Okay, so we have this thing is kind of like your settings tab. Again, here's the collection thing like it was up there, right, with the horse. But this will bring up the same thing, and there's the same button that brought you to horse, the stable master, right up at the map. But then you've got there's your emotes, there's your mounts, there's your cosmetic pets, cosmetic being for fun and look cool when they follow you around. Filters. This is another thing we can do. I don't even know much about this. I can study this later. You probably won't need to use this. This is probably for more advanced things that you probably won't care about quite as much, but I'm sure there's some really cool uses for it, so I can look it up later. Hobbit presents. This is something you get. You get one of these daily no matter what, or weekly, or day. No, it's daily. See, it resets in 5 hours, 24 minutes. You just get a free little thing, and it's random. It's just like a little like, oh, you got something cool, yay, daily. If you're a VIP, you get this one too, a daily, right? And it has some better stuff. That's what that is. But that'll pop up on your screen no matter what. I'll show you in a little bit. Traits. These are very important. I'm going to do an entire video on this, okay? This is, as you level, you get ability points, and you can choose on what you want to build into and spec into what tree. It gives you different skills sometimes, or it changes skills. It changes what you're good at. For minstrels, for example, the Watcher's Resolve, you're a super healer. The Warrior's Scald, it's your damage. You use all your magic light powers to damage. The Protector of Song, it probably has something to do with buffing too and healing. So usually that's how they lay this stuff out. There's the race traits. These are things you earn over time too. And now since I'm a dwarf, see, I get an extra bit of blocking from when I'm using a shield. I get a 5% increase to my damage and axes. If I use that one, I can have a total of 5 later. I can get a 4% increase in fate, and that it levels up slightly over when you level up. It's stronger. Guided might, that's another thing. This is an older thing in the game. There's a thing called a fellowship maneuver. That's what this adds to. Fellowship maneuvers are rather useless. They haven't updated them lately. But it used to be when you're lower level, if people critical hit someone, usually burglars can start it, it'll bring this little 4 pad up on your screen, and there's like a red, green, yellow, and orange or something button. And depending on which one you use, if everyone uses the green one, you all get an upgrade to an overtime healing buff. And the red one, it's like an ent, and everyone does like this spirit ent that does a bunch of damage to the enemy. That's what that is. Don't worry about it. That's something you can learn over time. Endurance of Stone, that's a cool ability. It's only 10 seconds. It's a long cooldown, but it gives you basically like your super tank for 10 seconds. Yeah. And then this is like a buff for your whole fellowship. You give everyone vitality for 10 minutes and a 30-minute cooldown. Okay? Those are some cool things. Virtues are very important. I'll go over this real quick. Virtues are earned by doing quests and killing things and certain things. You have to select which virtue you want to be on, see earning. So for me, we'll learn about stats. I'll do a video on stats later. But for me, we like to have fate and will. So if I hover these and I look for what do these give me, right? We're looking at all these, okay, like oh, honesty. Okay, that gives me tactical mastery since I'm a magic user. Tactical is magic, physical is like a warrior or a guardian, right? It gives me will. Okay, that helps me in certain ways. Just believe me, I'll tell you more details later, guys. Will helps me as a minstrel. Critical rating, that helps everybody. It means how much you crit. That's good. And then a passive bonus, it gives tactical and physical mastery rating. A little of both. Okay, well that's good. So I'm going to click on that. So I'm going to be earning that. So whenever I do quests or whenever I do things, I'll be earning this. And there's a cap right now, but the higher you level up, the higher you can go with that, right? And then you'll want to have all 6 of these. You want to have these maxed out over time. It helps you have base stats that are better. So your gear also is your main way to get better stats, though. Your gear and your weapons. Okay, so it looks like we went through that one, right? Traits. We got the map, right? We've already talked about this. I could do a whole episode on the maps. Let's leave that for another episode. But it's M to get the maps. The quest log, I think we'll do an episode on the quest log. I'm going to go through and do episodes on all these guys. The deed log, okay? we're going to do individual episodes on these, you guys, because otherwise this is going to be too much to grasp. And I'll name the individual episodes and you guys can go and watch them, because I'm going to do one on crafting too, right? So social, right? So social is where you find the mailbox. If you're a VIP, you can get to the mailbox immediately. If you're not, you have to walk up to a mailbox somewhere in the game and click it, and then you can do your mailbox, right? Which is more realistic. But the VIP is to make it a little bit more handy to get your mail. You send items, send mail to people, get quests from that sometimes. Fellowship. Okay, so anyway, this is how you get to, this is the same way to get to this button right here, right? So you open the social panel. It's the same here and here, same picture, right? Character, same thing, it's right here. Crafting, it's here, down here on the bottom still. Inventory, that's the stuff over here. And then system, obviously, right? You can get to the LOTRO store, which is also this button. You can log out, you can do that, or you can just click escape and go to options, or log out, or exit game. If you exit game without logging out, you guys, sometimes what can happen is you can be killed still while you're gone if you just exit game. So it's good to click log out and wait the 10 seconds, because once this is over, your character actually will disappear and then reappear when you log in this spot. So it's important to log out somewhere safe sometimes. Another thing that's important when we're going down along this thing is that you get rested experience when you're in a town, I believe. So like if you're in Breland or you're in Scythorn's Hall, you'll get rested experience, which is this blue experience that also doubles, and that will stack on top of, remember we go up to the wallet perks, it will stack on top of this enhanced XP. So it's a really fast way to increase your XP if you rest for a day, and you can only get a certain amount of rested. You can't be gone for 2 months and then be like, haha, I've got, 20 levels. You'll only get a level or so of rested XP, and then you can use it all up, and then you can go back, come back a day later or the next day, and you'll have more rested XP. So on. And there's only a certain amount of that XP you can use from the perks too, the Destiny perks. Okay, we're gonna try to end this pretty soon here. I know this is a lot of information, guys. Bear with me. I'm gonna do individual episodes on other things. So let me just go through here real quick. Crafting tab. I'm gonna do an entire episode on crafting. Be ready for it in the next day or two, okay? The social tab. We'll go through this real quick. This is people that are in the area right now that I'm in. So you can sort by area or kinship. So it displays, and it shows you where they are. This guy's in the Shire Homestead. So these are all people that are online in the game right now, right? These are people that are actually online. And there is an option to hide yourself by clicking anonymous. So if this is on, no one in here is going to be able to see me, right? And if someone messages me, I think it'll even say this person's away or something. So that's if you don't want to be like no one bothering you or something. I like to leave it off. I really think everyone should leave it off. It makes the game more fun when people are like, oh, look, this guy's doing it in a similar area. Maybe he'll want to do a quest with me. I think I'll leave that off, right? Also, it's searching for levels, right? Filters, what class you want to search for, that kind of stuff. This is finding people, right? Quest grouping. There's actually a thing to like help you find things for quests, right? Join, display 5 entries, right? People are trying to find people to do instances with, or quests with. Now we're gonna pop over to the friends tab here. This is people that are on my friends list, right? These are people I actually like have known over the years. I have a lot. Some people you could do it by time, level, class, right? There's some of my good friends. Anyway, so you can add people by typing in their name and then clicking send, and then they'll get an invite. They can send it to you, and then you can accept it in here, I believe. There's the people you've ignored. They're usually people that are like trying to like sell you something or something, but that rarely happens in the game, you guys. So don't freak. That's not gonna happen to you. Just be careful though. If someone sends you a message that says, "Hey, I'll give you this free stuff," you click that. Just like in anything in the world, guys, don't always believe everything. Everyone in this community is really good in Lord of the Rings Online, but you occasionally get that. I haven't gotten it in years, but it happens. Anyway, kinship tab. I don't have a kinship yet. We'll do a whole thing on kinships probably, right? And depending on what group we're in, we might make a kinship for Force of the Rings. For other channels, if people want to do kinships, I can help people with that. It'll be really fun. Raids. This is raids. When you're in groups of 6, I'll do this real quick. So remember, you could have 6 people in a fellowship. You can have 6 times 4 in a raid, right? So you're going to have your main people that are in your group, and then you're going to have these other little panels pop up on the screen that have 6, 6, and 6, right? And so it's all so there's 6 times 4 fellowships, right? And then that's how you do a big battle. And usually you're in different groups, and how you place them and stuff, and show vitals, and you can turn them off and on and control stuff here for that. That's if you're doing raids. Raid locks, that's something else. That's how long you can't do a raid. Sometimes you can do a raid, you can only do it a week later. That kind of thing, right? So, and this is some more info on that. But that's the social tab. We're done with that. I'm going to do a thing on the deeds tab. I'm going to do things more on quests, a video on quests. We might do quests and deeds together. I'll do a video on the character tab more later. We talked about the virtues. We'll do a thing on the trait trees, a thing on that. Here is if you turn this off, this is basically your fighting tab, or fighting auto. You auto attack when you right click something, you just are autoing it automatically. That's what this button is. You don't really ever use this. You just right click on the target. Left click it to normal select it, right click it to attack it, right? So left click, then right click will actually target it for being hit, red. So, and then my thing will automatically attack it, right? These are all numbered. You can keybind these in settings, right? But normally there's just one through this, you know, so. See, and now I'm just clicking to, or you can left click these to use them if you'd rather not use the keyboard. And you just like to left click on it with your mouse and then use your mouse to click these buttons to attack with your skills. Yep, so on and so forth. I'll do a whole thing on doing skills and stuff too, and setting this area up with all these skills. And then there's a little arrow here you can pull up. This is just the options thing for UI settings. So that it's just another quick way to get through it instead of clicking escape and going to UI settings, right? Again, a big thing, guys, if you go into settings, make sure that you do loot all. It's so nice. See how it automatically looted these things for me? You've acquired the light pad. I would have had to click and open it if I didn't have that on. It's really handy to have that loot all on option. Alright, well there we go. There's a lot more to this game. I'm going to end it here soon. Obviously, these inventory bags, again, I want to go over this real quick on this side since we did. There is a thing you can rotate through another set. So if you have two different sets, like so, this is like my main one. I don't usually change this, but like let's say you have a trait tree that's for defense and a trait tree for damage. You can have one of these as your trait damage tree, and then you can, when you flip it and you go to your defense tree, sometimes it changes the skills, you'll have all these as your defense skills you've set here. Okay, so that's what that is. I have these bars here because I like them here. You can actually move these. There's also two other bars you can make. Sometimes I'll leave some bars over here, but I will show you on my main character on it in the next episode. And then, so question thing, this is that's a help thing if you need it. Probably, hopefully, the reason you're watching this is for that. This is also where you can put in a ticket if you report a bug or something. They're really good about getting back in one day. So, again with inventory real quick, if I say I want to have individual bags and you don't like having just one giant bag, you can do this. You can move these around when you click this gear, right? You can also lock it, so then you can't move stuff around. But there's also an auto sort button. This is kind of cool. It sorts things to like the item type, but we'll talk about that more later. But see, now if you go down here, these are all bags. They can open individually. Or you can just put them all into one bag and only have one bag. So forth. And the LOTRO store. Obviously, we'll do a whole video on the LOTRO store as well. So we're going to go ahead and end there. Oh, and one more thing. Sorry, one more thing. This is your alert thing. Know you have mail, if you have a deed done, if there's a thing or a quest. That's all good to have, right? So that's what that is. So I appreciate you for this more in-depth overview of the interactions of what's on the screen in the game, right? That's the main goal of this one. So we're going to go ahead and end it here. I'm going to make more videos on individual things. So this is a big overlay of the interactions of everything on the main screen, right? So for you guys in the future. So thank you so much for this technical episode of learning the game. I hope it wasn't quite too long, and I hope that it helped you guys out. And please, please put stuff in the comments if you want more details on certain things that I said. I am going to make individual detailed things on quests and crafting and all these other tabs because I don't want this video to become an hour and a half. So anyway, we're going to end it there. Thank you so much. I'm your ghost and I am your guide and host, Zolan Ironshield, and I will see you again on the next episode of Voice of the Rings. And please catch our new episode that came out today of LOTRO Tale, episode 6 of Voice of the Rings on our voiceovers, the fun episodes. Yes, have a good one.